7.58 miles, 9 minutes, 3 seconds per mile, 138 beats per minute, going for a nice and easy, comfortable ride in the Hoka Clifton 7, and comparing it, taking the exact same route in the Asics Novablast. But before I get into my thoughts on these two super comfortable daily trainers head to head, I do want to go over some disclosures. The Asics Novablast is a pair of shoes that was sent to me for the purpose of review by Roadrunner Sports, and the Hoka Clifton 7 was a pair of shoes that I purchased with my own money. However, in either event, no one's paying me to put this shoe into a video, or is going to pay me to make the video, or reimburse me any purchase price, and no one's going to get a chance to preview any of my thoughts or footage before you guys get a chance to see this video on YouTube. Now, there's those disclosures out of the way, let's talk about the Asics Novablast and the Clifton 7. Now, both of these shoes are very similar on paper and have very similar approaches to what they're trying to do. Both of these shoes come in with 27 millimeters of super comfortable foam in the forefoot, with the Asics using Fresh Foam Blast, which is a new material for this year, which is surprisingly squishy and soft, but yet still a speedy material, and the Hoka Clifton 7 coming in with their EVA midsole foam and an ortho light liner that adds that extra level of comfort with each step. Now, the Asics Novablast is a bit heavy at 9.5 ounces compared to the Hoka's 8.6, but it carries it well. So the Asics Novablast doesn't feel like a heavy shoe, although the Hoka Clifton does feel like a very light shoe. Now, the Novablast does have 10 millimeters of stack height, giving it 37 millimeters of stack height in the heel, which is just a gigantic amount of foam. And the Clifton has 5 millimeters of stack height, so 32 millimeters of stack height in the heel. So still a very comfortable shoe. And they pair it with their Meta Rocker technology, which helps you get through the gait cycle a little bit more quickly. So even though the drop is low, you're still gonna get that rapid turnover. Now, I've been really enjoying running in both of these shoes. I've been running in the Novablast all summer long, compared to the Hoka Clifton 7, which I've only been running in very recently since it was just released. But since it was released, I've been repeatedly reaching for the Clifton 7 again and again. Both of these shoes are cushioned daily trainers, so they're good for a little bit of everything, very versatile, each of them in their own right, but they do it in a way that emphasizes cushion and comfort. Normally, the penalty for that is you lose a little bit of speed. However, both of these shoes are surprisingly fast shoes and very capable of picking up the pace. Now, because of their big stack heights, I wouldn't take either of these shoes to a track workout, but if you're gonna take this shoe on a long run, both of these shoes are gonna be very ready to take up that task. If that long run turns into a fartlek where you've got to pick up the pace, both of these shoes are gonna be very good at living up to that task as well. So it's a really surprising mixture of two benefits without really any major negatives. They also have very funky designs, both funky in their own rights. The Asics Novablast looking like it came straight out of the future, and the Hoka being as Hokas have always been. But I do think that the Asics Novablast does look like the better shoe to me. I prefer its design overall. The other thing that the Novablast does better than the Hoka is in that versatility. Now, I just finished telling you guys that both these shoes are pretty versatile as daily trainers, but I think that the Novablast is just a little bit more versatile, or the other way to put it is, I think that when it comes to going fast, it's a little bit less of an effort to get fast in the Novablast than it is in the Clifton, so it just handles picking up the pace a little bit better, and it lets you stay at those faster paces just a little bit easier with less kind of constant input than you might need in the Hoka Clifton 7. The Clifton has also been surprising me though in how well it can pick up the pace, but the Novablast does that just a little bit better, and so that's why I think it's a little bit more of a versatile shoe. On the other hand, the Hoka Clifton does have its strengths over the Novablast as well though. I do think that of the two very comfortable shoes, the Clifton is just a little bit more comfortable. Now, they're comfortable in different ways. I think the squish of the Novablast is a lot faster of a squish, but it's also a faster of kind of a spring back. The Clifton, the squish is a little bit softer. I think part of that is coming from the ortho light that's in there. Part of that is coming from the way that the EVA behaves. But you're not like smushing down the foam real fast in the Clifton like you are in the Novablast. And I think that over a longer run, that's the kind of squish and comfort that I prefer. Overall, like if it's the end of a week, a high mileage week, and I'm looking for a shoe to get me through like one more long run, I'm gonna be reaching for the Clifton 7 before I reach for the Novablast, although the Novablast is still going to be a really good choice. Like I said, both these shoes are really good in a lot of the same exact things, but if I got to pick, I think that the Clifton 7 is more comfortable. I think a lot of that too, though, is coming from the fact that I think it just fits me a little bit better. I've been telling people all along that I think the Asics Novablast is just like a quarter size too big. It's not roomy, it's just too big. So there's a little bit of a difference there. And the more I run in it, maybe I'm stretching the material. I'm not sure what it is, but that like missizing, that slight missizing, just becoming a little bit more prominent the more miles that I seem to be putting into it. The Clifton fits me a lot better. I just feel like it's very true to size. If you are someone who's loved the Clifton because it's been a little bit of a wider shoe though, you might not be as happy with the fit. Definitely something that you might want to try on. I feel like it's slightly narrower than it was last year. Maybe I'm just remembering the shoes differently because it has been a little bit since I ran in the 6, but the 7 feels like it's not as wide of a shoe as it had been previously, but it still fits me with plenty of room in the toe box, and I do find that it's a better fitting shoe than the Novablast. I also think that because of the way that the foam compresses, because of the way that the shoe fits on my foot, I feel like that makes it for a better long run shoe. Now, I said that the Novablast is a more versatile shoe because it does those faster speeds better. Both of these shoes do long runs really well, but I do think that the Clifton 7 does the long run a little bit better. I think another part of that is that the platform on the bottom of the Clifton 7 is just a lot wider than it is on the Novablast, and I think that lends to a little bit of stability, and not stability in like the overpronation sense, although I think that helps out in a little bit of that too. But I mentioned that the Novablast kind of is a fast squish shoe, like it compresses a lot quickly. And my first time running in the shoe, I thought that it might be too squishy and that might lead to some instability in the shoe. It ended up not being a problem, and a lot of that major concern kind of went away after a couple of runs. But I just think that it just squishes, there's a lot of like movement in the shoe that I think that you're getting, that you're not getting in this shoe, and I think that's also aided by that really wide platform. So which of these two shoes do I think is the better shoe? I think I'm going to give it to the Novablast. I think it's because of its uncanny ability to still be able to run quickly in the shoe, even though there is so much stack height, even though there is a lot of weight, even though the shoe does squish quite a bit, you can still run fast in it. It just doesn't make any sense. Not at all. So for that reason, I'm going to give the Novablast the slight edge over the Clifton 7 and call it the better cushioned daily trainer. So those are my thoughts on the Novablast versus the Clifton 7. Let me know in the comments if you disagree. I'd love to hear why and keep the conversation going down there. That's all I have for today's video, everybody. Thanks so much for making it all the way to the end. Hope you guys are staying safe out there on your runs, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yo, what's going on?